all those other guys out there supposed to usually score more than 17.
Those guys aren't playing defense. It's hard to score.
Got it.
With a 7-minute drive in the fourth quarter.
Okay, listen. I don't think the defense. I didn't think the defense was great, but I think that the Niners. What is the worst performance? Allowing the Vikings to score 23 or your offense scoring 17? I don't know. I thought they both had some cartoonishly bad moments. Both of your safeties coming across the field, that's not great. But Brock Purdy having the pick was a bad decision. That happens. Losing the ball, which didn't get called a pick, even though it was caught in the air, just because it went backwards. It was a fumble that was caught in the air. And then the other one that we showed when they were trying to get back in the game down 9 right here, that could have been another one. And so I understand we can, if we want to make excuses, we can. We can also say in the first half, second half, Brock Purdy played a really good first half, and the second half was bad.
Okay. So I'm going to stop it right there because he just kind of goes on and continues to blame Brock Purdy and the 49ers. And I really wanted to make this cut. And I did like a longer version of this clip, so if you want to see it, you can. But it's really more all about Brock Purdy and whatnot. And I wanted to make another clip because when this happened, when the Minnesota Vikings won, so many fans, were commenting on my channel saying they're going to say it's because of Brock Purdy. They're going to say it's because Christian McCaffrey's not there, yada, yada, yada. That they're going to give all the credit to the 49ers. The blame to the 49ers rather than the credit for the Minnesota Vikings. And that's what this whole segment is. This whole segment is about blaming Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Not praising the Minnesota Vikings. Not praising how Sam Darnold literally looked like an MVP out there. Kevin O'Connell's play calling and play design. The 97-yard touchdown pass. Right? Like the unbelievable play by that offense. And the fact that that defense held their own. That they made Brock Purdy uncomfortable at times. That they were able to shut down that offense, that high-powered offense. It's not all about Brock Purdy just not being a good quarterback. Or that Brock Purdy is just not good enough. Like that's not good enough of an explanation. It's okay to admit that the Minnesota Vikings are shaping up to be a really good team. As I made in my previous video showing you that I've been saying that Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings are going to be a good team and be like legit, and cause some trouble since June. Okay? Since literally the summer. Sam Darnold is a legit NFL quarterback. I have no idea what their ceiling is. But I do know that watching this game, it was more about the Vikings winning than the 49ers losing. Like all games, especially against good competitors, you're always going to be able to point at ways that a certain team could have won versus lost. Always. Always, always, always. But you have to watch the game and say, who was in more control? Who deserved to win the game? Who looked like they were doing more right than wrong? And why was another team doing wrong? Like it's a complicated thing to try to figure out. It's not just, oh, well, if Brock Purdy didn't have that fumble or that interception, then they win. It's like we could do that all day, though, then technically. But you got to figure out, why did that fumble happen? Why did that interception happen? Or did the Vikings also have some of their mistakes that have balanced it out? Like whatever it may be, you got to look at the complete thing. Someone said to me, and this blew my mind. This literally blew my mind. In the Bucks versus Lions game, they said the Bucks would have blown the Lions out if Baker wasn't sacked 5 times. Do you guys know how crazy? I can't even fathom a statement like that. I really can't even understand how someone can make a statement like that. That's part of the game. What do you mean? That's one of the benefits of what the Lions can do. Like what? Like what? That's like saying, oh man, the Vikings would have blown out the 49ers even more if Sam Darnold threw the ball 50 times and threw for 5 touchdowns. It's like, yes, that's theoretically true, but what? Oh, the Vikings would have won even more if they intercepted Brock Purdy 4 times. It's like, yeah, they would have, but what? Like, that's changing too many things now, right? Like, that's not how things work here. It's just very clear. when you watch this game, and for the life of me, that's what I was trying to do before. I don't know what I did with my Minnesota Vikings notes. Oh, there it is. But the Vikings were clearly in control. Sam Darnold is being mobile. The defense was great for the Vikings. It was balanced play calling, special teams, block punts. I mean, they made everything difficult for the 49ers. And Nick Bosa spoke on this. Bosa knew it. He accidentally said it out loud during an interview that they're taking this game more seriously. They know that this is going to be a better coached, harder team to beat than the New York Jets. And it proved to be accurate. And I trust Bosa's opinion. I mean, they're clearly not babying Sam Darnold. They're treating him like a true starting NFL quarterback. He spreads the ball around. He was in control the whole game. The Vikings were in control that whole game. I don't think the score is even representative of what the Vikings could have made it be. If we want to play that game, I think that's misleading. That makes it look a lot closer than it was. Almost like Dak Prescott's stats versus the Saints. You could look at that and say, oh, wow, he almost threw for 300 yards and a touchdown. And it's like, let's be clear about what happened in that game. So, no, we could do this all day. And I don't think Brock Purdy played this awful game. 28 for 36, 319 yards, touchdown, interception, and a fumble loss. Yeah, the fumble was a freak accident. Those things happen. Patrick Mahomes threw 2 and could have been 3 interceptions. Terrible interceptions. Mine, like the most elementary, like, oh my God, what the heck was that? That was backyard football where a kid was like, come on, can I be quarterback? Can I be quarterback? And it's like, no, man, you can't throw. You don't know what you're doing. Come on, just let me be quarterback. And it's like, all right, fine. That's what that looked like. And obviously Patrick Mahomes is amazing. So we don't have to just say, oh, well, that was all because Brock Purdy collapsed. He's just not good. I reject that notion. The Minnesota Vikings are shaping up to be a really good, competitive, tough team. I have no idea what their ceiling will be. None. But I do know they are not this walk in the park team. They will make teams uncomfortable. And guess what? They played significantly better. The Minnesota Vikings played significantly better against the 49ers, a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs played against the Bengals, an inferior team. And guess what? The 49ers played better than the Kansas City Chiefs team against a tougher opponent in the Vikings. So if we're not willing to give some of these players some of their issues grace and just being like, chalk it up to just like, this was a hard fought, tough game, but we give all the excuses to some of these other teams and players, I can't help you there. I really can't. The Minnesota Vikings deserve the credit for this win. Yes, some games it is more about another team losing. No question. No question. There's probably a whole handful of games that I could find where that was the case. Can't think of any off the top of my head, honestly, as I'm like trying to look through all my notes right now. Honestly, the Bengals. That was more about the Bengals losing than the Chiefs winning that game. Absolutely. This was about the Vikings winning, not the 49ers loss. So that little tagline should not say Brock at fault for this loss. It should be Sam Darnold and Minnesota Vikings ? True contender ? Win the NFC ? Win the division ? How high can Sam Darnold take the Vikings ? Not Brock at fault for this loss ? But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think this was more about the Minnesota Vikings winning this game or more about the 49ers and specifically Brock Purdy losing this game? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.